Josh, can't book my driving test. Can you help me? Yes, I can. So all I'm seeing on my Facebook feed, my news feed, every feed that I look at is driving tests have gone from crazy to really stupid. And some people can't even book a driving test anymore, which means they can't use a driving test cancellation app, so they're completely stuffed. Excuse my French. Now, I'm going to show you a way to get around this and hopefully get a driving test within up to 6 weeks. Now, this has been tested with one of my students and it worked an absolute treat. This particular student passed their theory test just 2 days prior to this video. 1 day after passing their theory, they had a driving test book for 6 weeks' time. Now, that's not to say that they're not going to get one even sooner than that, but that's far better than I'm hearing from anyone else. And that's at their local test centre in Stafford. So there's no requirement to drive halfway across the country either. Now, if you want to do this, this is what you've got to do. Go onto the normal DVSA website and book your driving test. Fill in all the details as requested, as you normally would, selecting the correct test centre that you would like until you get to a point and it says there are no tests available. At this point, there should be a button, a tick box somewhere that you can tick to say, please place my test on hold. Now, all this will do is place you in a queue and it will charge you as if you had a test booked. Once this is done, fill in the requested details, pay the £70 fee for the driving test, or however much it is at the time of you watching this video. And wham bam, thank you ma'am. You can now download any cancellation app of your choice and start looking for a test at whichever test centre you would like. Now, since my last video related to driving test bookings, I have been able to do a bit of research into cancellation apps to see if there's actually any difference, and surprisingly enough, there is. The main two differences are, first of all, the price, and secondly, the option to automatically book your driving test without you having to select it. Now, with me first saying that, you might think, Josh, that doesn't sound that important, but trust me, it is super important, especially in this current climate, because the amount of students I've had come to me saying, Josh, I can't book a driving test even with any cancellation apps is ridiculous. And the reason being, by the time your phone tells you there is a cancellation available and you go to select it, some other keyboard warrior has beat you to it. In fact, I've had numerous students say they can't book a driving test even with a cancellation app, and every time it comes down to, have you selected the option to automatically book your driving test? And the answer is normally no. Now, the app that I recommend to my students and everyone else that asks me is Driving Test Cancellations Now. If you're looking for it, it's in the description below, so feel free to have a look through it there. Now, there's a few reasons I recommend it. First of all, it's super easy to use on any mobile phone or computer device. It's reliable, and most importantly, it has that automated booking feature, which is super important. Now, don't get me wrong, it might not get you a test the very next day, but it will get you a test a lot sooner than you would otherwise. So the question is now, how do you use it? Well, the first thing you need to do is go to the description and download the app. Next, you need to sign up, filling in your driving license number, your theory certificate number, and your email address. Also, make sure you tick the box to automatically book your driving test, otherwise you're wasting your time. Number 2, let the app start searching for driving tests for you in whatever selected areas you've chosen. Now, at this point, there is required a bit of patience. It might not be the next day, it might be the day after, it might be the day after that, just a bit of patience. It will find you a driving test cancellation when someone else cancels their driving test. And people will cancel their driving test because, one, they're not ready or they're unavailable and they don't want to lose a £70. I know I wouldn't want to. Now, number 3, the app will find a driving test for you. You might wake up in the morning and it emails you to say, we've got a test, we've booked it for this date for you. Here you go. At this point, you can look at that, check with your instructor and go, okay, that's great, or no, this isn't an ideal date for me. Can you find me a different date? That test will then go back into the system and go to someone else. However, there are not that many tests available out there at the moment, so I'd really try to avoid this. You also want to be aware you can only change your test date up to 3 times, and then you need to go back onto the DVSA website, cancel your test, rebook it, and start again. So keep that in mind. With that all done, all you need to do now, smash the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you about soon. But seriously, if you found this helpful, have a look at the channel, see what other driving info is there to help you on your driving test, which you're hopefully going to get soon. Take care, Josh out.